So with Advanced Warfare basically being a dud in the eyes of so many COD esports fans, really, people are looking at Black Ops 3 now with really high hopes and expectations. Everyone wants this game to be as good as it can be, and from what the Black Ops 3 esports reveal that we've saw in Berlin just in the past week, there's so much on the table, guys, in terms of what Treyarch is going to bring in terms of Call of Duty esports in the coming year, and I want to share a couple of those things that they're bringing to the table. It's actually really ridiculous. I'm going to actually close this web browser that's on the side here. It's distracting me. I'm watching League of Legends on the side. But speaking of League of Legends, there's sort of features coming in from League of Legends that are now going to be implemented in the Black Ops 3 esports. One of those features being the bans and protect system. So in League of Legends, there's bans and picks, so you get to choose which champions you're playing and which champions you want to ban out. So the way the League of Legends system works is that you can ban 3 champions in the beginning, and then the other team bans 3 champions. So it goes, you ban one, they ban one, you alternate, and then you can pick alternate champions. So one team picks one, then the other team picks two, 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 one, and then whatever. I don't know if those numbers are right, but if you watch the first 10 minutes of any League of Legends game that any League of Legends game, just type in League of Legends gameplay or something, and you'll see picks and bans and the ranked play. You can watch the first 10 minutes, and any caster will talk about why teams are banning certain things and why they're picking certain champions, what team composition they're trying to create, what they're trying to prevent. Maybe a super strong enemy opponent is really good with a certain champion. You want to ban that away from him because he has a really ridiculous win rate with this champion, but also there's a champion that it's really strong in the meta, and you want that champion, so you got to ban away the counter to it. There's so many different things that teams can do to like make bans, and you can win through bans and picks, and you just outplay the enemy based on the things you're picking because what you've picked is stronger. So bringing this into Call of Duty now is sort of interesting. So the way the bans and protect system is working is that your team has 4 bans and or protects. Same with the enemy team. So you can ban or protect, and then the enemy team can ban or protect. Then you ban and protect, the enemy team bans or protects, etc., etc., etc. You go down the list. So there's 8 items in total that can either be banned or protected. This is basically telling us that they want the game as they want the transition from public matches to competitive matches as seamless as possible. That could be one of the downsides to this, is if there's so many things that are on the table to be banned that are really important to ban, otherwise they'll be OPs, so like all over the place. That could be an issue, because if we have a situation where like noob tubes are super strong, let's just throw that out as an example, or if there's like Dead Man's Hand, something stupid like that. I'm not really sure what the OPs are at this stage, because we only had the esports reveal and now we're only gonna have the beta. We're still not gonna have the full game, so I'm only speculating here. But if there are these issues with like super OP things, teams could cheese you because you only have one ban. The first like pick or ban is that's it, and now the enemies can pick I guess protect or ban. That's what they're calling it, bans or protect. So if you ban a noob tube, the other team cannot protect shock charges. Let's just call it something dumb like that, right? But they can do that. So now they can set up these really cheese strategies. So that's potentially a big downside to the bans and protect system, is that there are a lot of cheese strategies potentially available, because you can ban out all the specialist things, you can ban on all the guns that a certain player would be really powerful on or would be really effective using. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the meta shifts in terms of what's a priority pick. What maybe this one team that's really good with this one random gun, you need to ban it at all costs, but maybe they're also really bad at the meta pick. So some teams are better off banning this gun, whereas the other teams you don't even want to look at it in the bans and protects system. So there's going to be a lot of different ways in which pro players and teams can actually come together and like either have a gentleman's agreement or just ban things that are super OP. And then yeah, I love the system, guys. There's so many good things about it. It's just the one issue is if there's way too much to ban or protect, there could be a huge issue in terms of getting cheese. Now you've got explosives all over the map. You've got this one really ridiculously OP specialist thing that really isn't a competitive thing at all. Maybe it's not actually in the spirit of competitive viable, and it shouldn't be there. Remember Stim and Cloak? They banned that almost immediately after people realized how abusive it was. It wasn't competitive. It was just making the game less enjoyable for a lot of players, especially on the online scene. Even at LANs, this thing existed and it would crush people's spirits and souls because of how cheese it was. So a lot of amateur teams could come out through the woodworks in the beginning of the game if they can find these really cheese picks and these compositions that could really crush you. They could come up with a strategy that no one's discovered, and that's going to be really fun to see at the beginning of the year. What team is going to discover and what team is going to pick up the system the quickest? does everyone know that Clayster only can use one gun? Does everyone know that? Or maybe is he a one-trick pony? Or maybe Formal, he's the best player in the game and no one knows it because he has this huge AR pool that he can choose from. He can choose any AR, so it's impossible to ban him out. Just give him his best pick because he's going to do well regardless. Maybe you want to ban out a certain strategy that the person's going to use. Maybe if you're playing against Fizzerp, ban out smoke grenades. Maybe your win percentage when he doesn't have smokes in S&D is 80% because of the way you play. So, in 80% of the games you play where he doesn't have smokes, you win. That's like such an interesting stat. There's so many things that could be, could come as a result of the bans and protects. I'm really excited, but hopefully it works, because if there is too much to ban, there's going to be a competitive setting where these things are already off the table and then you're just banning away from an even smaller, list of items that are available in terms of special streaks, guns, etc. So talking about special streaks, there are a lot more specialist streaks in terms of like special abilities. So you've got the specialist draft that's now being instituted. Now players could have all these different abilities, like you've got the glitch, you've got the annihilator, you got the bow and arrow, I believe. So there's a lot more things. I don't have them all listed, but that means that a player can have a different impact on the map than another player. In previous Call of Duties, a player has that impact, has the same impact basically as any other player on the map if they're using the same weapon, because everyone uses the same perks relatively. The only real difference is the equipment and the gun. Let's say you put two players like Formal and Crimsix on the same team. Maybe they're using the exact same class setup. Their only difference is that they're positioning themselves in different parts of the map because they're stronger in this part of the map. Formal is more AR heavy in the top 3 of Solar. Maybe Crimsix is better in those close ranged AR battles. So you can compare those two players, but relatively speaking, they're going to have the same impact in terms of what they can bring to the table. They've got the same guns, they've got the same equipment, but now with the different specialist streaks that are available, a player like Sensor, who can, you saw his like glitch outplay on the S&D clip that I think was uploaded onto one of the subreddits for COD Competitive. It's actually ridiculous what a player can bring to the table now. Maybe a player like Scumpy, who's got a glitch perk, can super outplay because he's already skilled individually, he can win that one-on-one, but now he has a chance to win a 1v2 with a perk that allows him to do this. So maybe a player with that ability has a better chance of winning as opposed to a player without a certain specialist ability. You can really abuse these things. So like in League of Legends per se, let's look at a certain champion, for example. So a champion like call it what should we say? We'll call it Rise. So Rise is a champion that is super strong in the late game. This guy, as long as he can get to that point, he will carry games for you. He can actually completely lock someone down for the entire duration of a team fight and really just single-handedly eliminate a threat off the enemy team. So if you've got a champion that's like that has that inherent ability, regardless of how well the player is skilled at, or how well he is with that champion, there is still the potential to make that play happen. So there's more inherent value in the things that you are picking. So you have to worry about the threat of the Rise. You have to worry about the threat of the smoke grenade from Fizzerp. You have to worry about the threat of the actual AR from the Clayster or the Formal. So it's more meta, I think. Now we can actually have a strategy involved in the picks and bans in regards to specialist drafts, in regards to who's picking what. So if the Slayer's picking the Annihilator with the pistol, or if he's picking if an OBJ's picking the glitch, or if he's picking extra armor, it's going to have different impacts on different parts of the map. So maybe it's more impactful for the SMG who has the armor to run it at the hill at the last sections of the game, where the score and hardpoints are really coming down to the wire, than it would be for a pistol to come in, because now you've got a chance to contest the hill with that extra armor. Whereas if you were with 100 health and didn't have that base armor, you die faster, you didn't have the same impact as another player. So now you can inherently have more impact in the game with these new abilities. So that's going to be really cool to see how teams can utilize this, which players innovate the fastest, and who can take advantage of this variety that maybe Black Ops 3 will bring to the table. So that being said, the bans and protects, the specialist draft, all those things are going to be really cool, and they're going to allow for an allotted time to exist before the game starts, to where a player can create their classes to have these counters, to have classes, to have strategies set up. That's going to be good because now teams will be able to react, because if there's so much on the table in terms of what's available to be picked, you can't make a class for everything. So the fact that you have time built in to make your class and counter it is going to be really, really beneficial, I think, because now we don't have to actually wait and be like, oh yeah, wait for the teammates to get ready. They're just setting up their classes. I remember Gfinity, they had a countdown for when the matches are going to start. even better with this. So now it's actually built into the game. That's going to be really cool to see how teammates can adapt and react. That being said, I love this whole system right there. Caster settings, COD caster settings are going to have defaults now, so you can like save a custom setting and be like, yep, so this is the one we want to start up for listenings. This is the one we want to start up for picture-in-picture. We want to use setting 3 for the map overviews. We want to look at a player's statistics. We got this overview. So a lot of nice built-in feature for COD casting. I know the casters were really happy with it. They're actually going to be able to talk about the game more effectively and quicker than, remember, Advanced Warfare. The COD casting system was very bad, and it looks very good in terms of Black Ops 2 comparison. So that's really good altogether. Caster settings, everything I'm saying right now is basically a positive. There's really almost no way that this can go poorly. The only issue is the bans and protects, like I said, but that's an issue for when the game is released. And we'll have to see when the beta comes out if there's certain OP picks that are available that need to be banned at all times. We'll have to see. That being said, there's also the same game modes as you saw in Advanced Warfare. Hardpoint, S&D, uplink. I really like the movement aspect of this game. It's momentum based, so now you can't just constantly boost, duck, div, dive, duck and dodge. I don't know what the 5 things are, but you guys seen Dodgeball. That was a good movie. But you've got the same game modes. It's gonna be really interesting from game mode to game mode. Like, you want to ban out the AR in this game mode so he doesn't have that impact in the respawns, but in the S&Ds maybe you give him the AR because you want to ban out the smoke grenades, the tacticals, the specialist perks that are potentially available to make those cheese strategies happen. It's going to be interesting to see how the bans and protects shift from game mode to game mode. So there's also uplink, so maybe there's going to be a super OP, maybe the glitch perk. I keep talking about that because that's the one play I saw from Sensor where he clutched like a 1v2 or something with that. That was really cool. So if you have these certain cheese strategies available, you have the chance to make these super outplays happen, make the upset happen. Like an amateur team who comes up with a very innovative strategy has a chance to making it very far in a tournament because of the way the game will work. So if I really hope the first event will be like a UMG or something, because that's where we always see the dark horses from like the lower brackets and the the full like 128 tournament the teams come through, and like if they have an innovative strategy, like let's say a random like 79th seed comes in with a super strat, he comes through, makes it to the group stages, clutches against the top team, has better strategies available. That could be really cool to see those dark horses with these new strategies that are available. So that being said, I really love the game. It's got a lot of variety from what we've seen in the Black Ops 3 reveal. Also, league play. So talking about league play, it's now going to be called the arena mode. So it's going to be based on the League of Legends sort of system where you base your rankings and elo off of your wins. So every time you're winning, you're increasing by your points, and if you're losing, you're decreasing your points. So if you're winning and you're doing really well, you probably gain more points. If you're winning and you do poorly, you gain little points, but you still gain. And that being said, if you lose and you actually shit the bed, you lose a lot of points. But if you lose and you hard carried your team, but we still lost, maybe you only go down a little bit. So we're gonna have to see how that system works out. There's gonna be like tiers like bronze 5, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you get promoted into silver 5, etc., until you get to master. So that'll be cool to see how the tiers work. And one of the nice things that they also talked about as well is the preventing of reverse boosting. So if you're in the gold division, you can never actually become a silver player again, so you can never get demoted. That could be good, that could be bad, just because players may not deserve to get into gold who do, and they can't be demoted no matter what. So then a gold division could literally become a division where bronze players just had a very lucky streak where they got paired with master players, so they got carried to that point where they're getting enough points to promote themselves, and then guess what? They are stuck there, and they actually get shit on by players who are better, and they're going to be stuck there forever. That could be weird, but there's always going to be Smurfs, so it's kind of unpreventable. It's kind of just like out in the air, like, yeah, it's probably going to happen. In CSGO it happens a lot where Smurfs make a new account, they crush the first couple games, then they get promoted, etc. That could be good, but I like how they're actually reactively, or proactively, excuse me, trying to acknowledge these issues like reverse boosting instead of reactively saying like, oh, reverse boosting is an issue, try to ban out God accounts when really people just don't play Advanced Warfare anymore. That's just a rant in its own, but that's going to be really cool. And also the ranks are always going to be individual, so no matter if you're playing with a team of 4 or by yourself, you're just going to be ranked in the same ladder. So there's no separate team ladders where you have to play with 4 guys in order to get points in this division. It's always just going to be solo, so that could be good, that could be bad. Maybe solo players who are bad get carried by the 3 other teammates. That's going to be the issue that we're going to see. They get promoted unjustly, but hopefully this game actually turns out really well. I'm already really excited, guys. The game looks really good. It looks like Black Ops 2. People have talked about it, how it feels and plays a little bit like Black Ops 2. except there's a lot of innovation available, and also the developer support, like we've seen with these things that I've listed off, is already there. Hopefully, like I mentioned in my previous video on statistics, hopefully they can bring in some of those statistics that I mentioned. That would probably make this game killer, would knock it out of the park. No other Call of Duty could even touch this in terms of competitive. But let me know if there's anything else I missed in the esports reveal. I think I pretty much covered everything. I'm not going to cover like the power guns right now, the things that are strong, because there's going to be the beta for that. We're going to be able to see what's strong and what's not. We're going to also have to wait for the actual game to be released, because maybe they patch a couple things before the game is fully out and developed for the public to play. That being said, it's been Uxer. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace.